Hey you guys, thank you for tuning in to another one of my Saturday story times where I sit here every Saturday and tell you guys a story about a murder or a mystery or a crime or just a random story that comes to my head. I tell you guys a story about it every time on right here every Saturday, every time. And if you don't know, my name is truet.tj, and today's Storytime video, today's Saturday Storytime video is about a young woman named Felicia Scott. Now, Felicia Scott, her story isn't going to be as long as I hoped it to be. I tried to find as much information as I could on this chick. I even tried to pull up her police report. It's so many freaking, Felicia Scotts. But I can't tell you out of the area right now. That's a part of the video, so you gotta wait. You just gotta wait. You just gotta wait. So yeah, I tried to do so much research and figure out and find so much stuff about Felicia Scott. I just really couldn't find anything about this chick. You know, only thing I know is that she's in jail. Period. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah. But if you want to do your research about it, go ahead. I'm gonna put the videos and different links that I found my research on in the description box below, and also that all my videos come from my favorite TV shows, which is Snap, Killer Couple, My Killer Next Door Neighbor, maybe sometime Forensic Files for the mystery part. You know, so I get my stories from a lot of different TV shows, okay? And I'll also link them in the description box as well. So if you guys want to check out these stories to get a better sense of what I'm talking about, then you guys can go ahead and do that. If you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe, like, share, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you guys like my Saturday Storytime videos. I will appreciate all the feedback. And also, a disclaimer for this video is that's my full disclaimer. Sorry about the disclaimer. I'm gonna try to get a better disclaimer so I can be better at it, you know what I'm saying? But right now, I ain't that good at it. But I'm gonna get good at it. But yeah, let's just get into this video. So a little backstory on Felicia Scott. Felicia Scott was a 29-year-old mother of two boys from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. A lot of people say that Felicia was very dominant. She was very controlling, especially in her relationship. Alicia grew up in a middle class area in Alabama, and she was raised by her grandmother and her mother. She didn't know her father. I tried to get her parents' name, you guys, but they, like I said, this particular topic, they don't give that much information. In the police report, it was just like a needle in a haystack for me. Come on, you guys know some sites that I can go on and figure out more information, then please let me know. Comment below. Thank you. Okay, so Felicia Scott, you know, all her life she wanted to be a mother, you know what I'm saying? She wanted to have she wanted to have a husband, you know, she wanted the kids, she wanted the whole white picket fence in the yard, I guess. That's the saying, right? I think so. I think that's the saying. But yeah, she wanted all that. But, you know, y'all already know how all these murder and mystery stories, she probably not gonna get that. Let's be honest. Okay. So yeah, so Felicia Scott, she was married once before. They was married for 6 years. They got divorced. He decided that he just didn't want to be in the marriage anymore, so he decided to leave her, which left her with two boys. So Felicia Scott had to work a lot of, you know, jobs to provide a roof over her boy's head and hers to put food on the table. So she was really struggling. So a couple of years later, she ended up meeting her second husband, and his name is Frederick Polian. Frederick Polian was a youth teacher. I don't know what he worked at. They really didn't give that information. But I'm assuming that Frederick was around the same age as Felicia. Okay, so the two, they hit it off very well. They got to know each other. You know, they was talking, whatever couples do or whatever like that. And so they decided after a year of dating that they want to be together, get married, and move in together. So that's exactly what they did. Now, Frederick was the type of guy where he was not assertive. He was not he was very reserved. So he wasn't combative. He was the type of guy, you know, as long as you give him what he wants, he'll give you what you want with no argument. Fred was very reserved. So, but one thing that Fred wanted out of life was a kid. And he thought by Felicia having two boys that she would probably be able to give him, you know, that child that he longed for. But after many, many attempts of trying to get Felicia pregnant, you know, it just was never successful. And every time that Felicia saw the hurt in Fred's eyes, it just made her feel so insecure in their relationship. She just felt like eventually, like, hey, if I don't produce this baby, like, this dude is gonna leave me, and I ain't gonna have nobody to take care of me and my kids. Like, I'm gonna be out working all these different jobs once again, trying to being a struggle single mom, and I just don't want to do that. So Felicia was determined to keep this marriage alive. Any means necessary, keep that in mind. So Felicia was determined to keep this marriage, successful. So one day, Felicia babysitter, and her name is Caretha Curry, she came over with this wonderful news that, oh my God, that she was pregnant. Little side note on Caretha Curry. Now, Caretha Curry was a teenager at this time. She was 17 when she got pregnant. Some say that Caretha was very naive, sweet, just I guess a little just naive. That's all I can say about Caretha. Like, I don't know. She was just naive, okay? So she got pregnant by her boyfriend at the current time, and they was not really in a relationship. Like, they didn't really have a good relationship. They argued a lot, and, but out of all that, she was going to have a baby by him. So, yeah, one day Caretha came to Felicia and was just like, yeah, Felicia, like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm a couple of weeks pregnant or whatever like that. So Felicia was excited. Caretha was excited. They was all excited about Caretha's having a baby. And at that particular moment, a light bulb went off in Felicia's head, and she was just like, I'm pregnant too. I feel like that's basically what happened to her. Like, she was just like, oh, Caretha's pregnant. I'm pregnant too. Like, I gotta tell my husband. And that's exactly what she did. The day after that, Caretha told Felicia that she was pregnant, Felicia somehow got a positive pregnancy test. I'm really sure that she made, from what I've read, she made Caretha take a pregnancy test. And then Felicia took that pregnancy test and showed it to Fred as if she was actually pregnant, okay? She also went and told all her family and her friends that she was pregnant. But some of her family, most of her family that knew Felicia very well, knew a secret that she'd been holding from some of her friends and some of her other family members, and also from poor old Fred. Felicia had a hysterectomy in 1994. Now, the murder happened in the fall of 1995. I forgot to tell you guys that. Oh my God, I'm so all over the place, but it's okay. You guys get the story. I'm pretty sure you do. So yeah, so she had a hysterectomy in 1994, but Fred didn't know that. Fred was just like,
oh, Felicia got 2 kids. She can have a third one.
I think Fred was, in my opinion, Fred, not only was he like very nonchalant and very reserved and just didn't have a care in the world, but he was naive too. He was a dummy as well. Felicia Scott was a dummy. Frederick Polian was a dummy too. They're the dummy of the day Saturday for me. So that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, back to the story. So yeah, Felicia was telling everybody that she was pregnant. Poor Fred was excited. He was finally about to get the baby that he deserved. Like, he was finally about to be the father that he wanted to be. He was just so happy that Felicia was pregnant. Like, I think Fred thought that something was wrong with him, and Felicia was just being insecure. She probably thought, something was wrong with her, but I'm pretty sure dummy Felicia knew that she couldn't get pregnant, but she just thought something else. I really don't know. I don't want to put words in the program out, but okay, so whatever. So Felicia started to put her plan into motion, and Felicia's plan was to get as close to Caretha as she could. I mean, like, they was going out to dinner. Caretha was coming over, having, movie night with Felicia and her family. Like, they was going shopping together. They were sharing stories together. Felicia was basically telling her how things was when she was a single mom, when she had her first kids, things to look out for. Felicia was just being a really good friend to Caretha. I mean, like, Caretha basically let down all guards when it came to Felicia. And by the way, the little side note, Felicia knew Caretha because Caretha was their babysitter, and Caretha also stayed in the neighborhood that Felicia and Fred and Felicia's 2 boys stayed in. So she'd been their babysitter for a little while, and then all of a sudden, she got pregnant, and this is what the story was. Okay, so let's fast forward to the murder. Alright, so no one knows what day the murder actually took place because Felicia really hasn't said anything about the murder, but what they do know is that the murder took place in fall of 1995 in Alabama. So Felicia called Caritha and Caritha's mom, and she basically took them shopping. You know, they went shopping for the baby. At this time, Caritha was like almost due. Like she had to been like close to 40 weeks. Like Caritha was going to have that baby like any day now. And Felicia knew that. That's why Felicia was like hot on her tail. Like she knew that. And also, a lot of people that knew Felicia when she came out to say that she was pregnant, a lot of people was questioning that because Felicia did not gain weight. And her excuse is that she carried all her weight in her butt. So it's not common or uncommon that she didn't gain weight in her stomach, which is a lie. If you're pregnant, no matter how skinny you are or you know how big you are, you're going to show like signs of pregnancy. Like you are. Like it's rare that you probably won't, but in Caritha's case, she was a very small framed woman at this time. So of course she was gonna have a little pudge, but she didn't have a pudge. Not only did she not have a pudge, but she wasn't experiencing any morning sickness. No one knew when she was going to a doctor's appointment, not even Fred. Fred was not even allowed to go to any of her doctor's appointments. Like Felicia was taking ultrasounds offline. Felicia was taking ultrasounds, you know, for Caritha to, you know, pretend to show Fred like this is my baby or whatever like that. And Caritha was doing a lot of, you know, manipulative shit. And Fred, dumbass, was just going along with it, and he just didn't care as long as one day this baby was gonna come out of somebody. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. That he didn't care if it was a true or false story. Like he just wanted this child. Okay, so back to the day. So Felicia, Caritha, and Caritha's mom, they all went shopping or whatever. And after shopping, you know, they all went back to Felicia's house. Okay, so Caritha and her mom was dropping Felicia off, and then Felicia was just like, no, Caritha, you know, just stay here. Like, let's order some pizza. Like, I want to talk to you. Let's do like some chit chat or whatever like that. So Caritha's mom said that she left Caritha with Felicia and just went home. Like, she didn't think nothing of it. Like Caritha was telling her how, you know, Felicia was very supportive. Like they became like real cool. They became like really good friends. So I'm pretty sure her mom didn't think nothing of it when she left her there. Okay. So not even 30 minutes after they have settled into the home and ordered the pizza or whatever like that, Felicia had a gun. Now they don't tell you what kind of gun it was, which is a freaking bummer because I want to know. I like guns. So I want to know, like, was it a pistol? Was it like a 22? Like, was it like one of them cute little guns that you can like put in your pocketbook or put in like some jeans or something like that? Or even if you put it in your bra, because I can put my phone in my bra. So I'm like, if I can find a gun, I can put it in my bra. That'll be fucking awesome. I told you, it's not too much to this story. It wasn't a lot of information about this story. So 30 minutes into eating, Felicia took out a gun and point blank shot Caritha in the back of her head. She shot this poor girl who was due in days to have her baby. She shot this poor girl in the back of her head. Now, Felicia already did her research, so she already knew that she was going to have an at-home delivery with Caritha baby, of course, because Felicia wasn't pregnant. So she done did all her research on how to do a C-section, how to properly get the baby out, how long it takes to get the baby out. Like, Felicia was very dedicated to getting this baby out of Caritha safe and sound. And she did. When Caritha fell on the floor, Felicia turned her on her back and cut her from her neck all the way down to her pelvis, like right above her vagina area. And on her way of doing that, Caritha actually started to wake up. Like, Caritha wasn't dead. So she probably had to been like right at Caritha's chest when Caritha started moving. So Felicia grabbed the gun and fucking unloaded it on Caritha. Just shot her until she stopped moving. And then she went back and proceeded to cut her from her neck all the way down to her pelvis, because Felicia knew that she only had a 7-minute window time before the mother actually died and saving the baby before it dies of lack of oxygen. So Felicia knew exactly what she was doing, like all hands down. So after she got the baby out safe and sound, Felicia then cleaned up her mess. She picked up poor Caritha's body. And Caritha wasn't a big girl. She was a little girl, okay? She had to been like under 5'5". She picked her up and put her in a trash can. Well, in a trash bag. I don't know. I think she chopped her up. That would be my opinion. Like, how can you, even if she was like under 5'5", like how can you put her in a trash bag. Like, you know, like if it was me, I probably would have just sawed her arms off and, you know, her legs. It's easy to fit parts in the trash can than fit a whole body in a trash can. That's just my opinion. So she put her in the trash can. She put her in a trash bag, and then she put her in a trash can, like one of the little household trash cans. You know, like back in the day, they didn't have like the big trash cans you have now. They had like the little short, you know, trash can, and they had like the little lid on it or whatever like that. I'm gonna try to find a picture of it and I'm gonna put it up here so you guys can see what kind of trash can she put her in. Okay, so Felicia is covered with Caritha's blood, holding Caritha's unborn baby. Holding Caritha's born baby, and yeah, getting ready to present this baby to Fred. I think Caritha was having a girl, and yeah, I think she was having a girl. I can't remember. I should have wrote that down, but I really don't like talking about kids, so I really didn't know. When I read this story, I just felt so disgusted by what was going on. I just wanted to get, you know, as much as information that I could find, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a lot. But I think she ended up having a girl. So Felicia knew that Fred was coming home very soon. So Felicia knew that she had to clean up the blood, put the body in the trash can, and, you know, get ready for Fred to come home and see his new baby girl, the love of his life, his spring little chicken from another man and another woman. Yeah. Poor Fred. So Fred just walked his happy-go-lucky ass through the door and see Felicia here covered in blood, and
she was just like, oh, I had my baby, and you know, she just came out of nowhere, basically.
Fred did not question Felicia at all. Like, Fred believed every word that Felicia said. She told Fred that she had the baby at home, that it was an emergency, that the baby just came out. Fred believed her. Felicia told other people that she had the baby at her sister's house. Like, she told that to, you know, her friends and, you know, some of her family members that she really didn't speak to. She told them that she had the baby at an at-home pregnancy at her sister's house, which was a total lie. So when Fred comes through the door, Fred noticed that Felicia's bloody, and Felicia's just like, oh, can you take the trash out? It stinks, it stinks, it stinks. This is where it gets stupid for me. Not only was Fred dragging this heavy ass trash can, but you guys, if somebody asked you to take the trash out, would you drive the trash 50 miles away and throw it into a ravine? I don't think so. When most people take their trash out, they take it out to the curb or they put it outside their front door. Like at my apartment, we got the little people that they come to our front door and they pick up our trash. No, Fred picked this trash can up that contains Caritha Carey's body, put it in the back of his truck, and literally drove 50 miles to dispose of it. And I was just like, when I heard that story, I was just like, oh my God, like, he knew something was up. Like, you was living with Felicia for months, and her belly wasn't growing, she wasn't getting motion sickness, like, she wasn't experiencing any kind of pregnancy symptoms. And then the day, you never been to any of her ultrasounds. Let's start there. Like, you never even saw the baby through an ultrasound. So you just going strictly by her word. And then you come home and she's fully bloody. And the first thing that she tells you is to take the trash out. And you drive damn near 50 miles to dispose of this trash. Seriously? Seriously. So yeah, Fred did that. Dumbass. He drove, disposed of the trash, and he came on back home so he can enjoy him and his wife and his new baby. And they just love the baby. I don't even know what the baby name was, but you know I don't say kid's name in my story. If you want to know her name, please go ahead and look at it or figure it out yourself. But I don't share kids in my story. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. So yeah, so after Caritha's mom didn't hear from her for 24 hours like any normal parent would do, she called Felicia and was just like, Felicia, you know, have you seen Caritha? You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't heard from her. She didn't come home last night. Like, where is my daughter? And Felicia told Caritha's mother that she dropped Caritha off at their house, talking about Caritha and her mom's house, at like around 8 o'clock that night. and she don't know. Maybe that Caritha decided to not go in the house and run off with her boyfriend, because Felicia came up with this elaborate story saying that how Caritha was going to run off with her baby daddy and live this fabulous life. And Caritha's mom was just like, bitch, that ain't what she was saying. Like, I don't believe that. Like, I'm finna call the cops. If you don't give me my daughter, I'm finna call the cops. And that's exactly what Caritha mama did. She called the cops, but the cops said you had to wait like 48 hours. So she had to wait an extra day. I'm pretty sure that last 24 hours of waiting and not knowing where your child was at was like so frightening and so like nerve-wracking. Last 24 hours, Caritha's mom decided to call the cops. The cops went over there to Felicia to investigate and noticed that Felicia had a newborn baby. Now, Caritha's mom told the cops that she's a pregnant 17-year-old girl. Like, she haven't heard from her in 2 days. You know, she called the woman who she last seen her with. The woman said that she ran off with her boyfriend. Like, Caritha's mom told the cops all this. So, she also told them, you know, like, I feel like Felicia has something to do with it because Felicia was the last person who seen my daughter. So, of course, the cops are going to follow that lead. So, the cops went over there to Felicia's house and saw Felicia. Felicia answered the door. She was all calm. She was all cool and collected. The cops asked her, you know, have she seen Caritha? She was saying that the last time she saw Caritha, like I told you guys, she dropped her off at her mom's house, and, you know, that Caritha was planning on running away with her baby daddy. Maybe that Caritha did that. And the cops just found that very suspicious. Like, okay, well, if that's the case, then why isn't she answering her phone? Like, no one's heard from her. Like, why hasn't she contacted her mother? You know what I'm saying? So after questioning Felicia, the cops really didn't have nothing on her, so they let her go. So, but they decided that her story was just a little fishy. So they decided to like speak to Felicia's parents, and also Caritha's mom was very adamant that Felicia had something to do with it. So the cop had to investigate. So the cops looked at Caritha's family. They spoke to her dad, and her dad's story is what set the cops to go look further into Felicia's background, because the cops went to Felicia's dad and was just like, hey, you know, like, do you know anything? And then the dad even said that he didn't even know that Felicia was pregnant. Like, she told everybody she was pregnant, but she wasn't showing signs of being pregnant. And that Felicia told him this elaborate story, you know, when she finally did have the baby or took the baby, that her and her sister was, no, not her and her sister, her and a friend was driving, and the cops pulled them over, and all of a sudden Felicia blacked out, and when she woke up, instead of her friend being in the driver's seat, it was a newborn baby. So she took it as a sign that she was supposed to be another mother. These are the type of elaborate stories that Felicia was telling people. She was telling people that she was having an at-home pregnancy birth at her sister's house, and telling people that she just woke up. She just woke up in her car, and it was a baby in the passenger seat, in the driver's seat, and that was just like a gift from the gods or whatever like that. So Felicia was the dummy of the day. She was a freaking liar. A freaking liar. Okay, back to the story. Let me finish telling you guys the ending. Okay, so the cops thought that was suspicious too, that Felicia told her dad that story. And she also told, like, you know, some of her friends and other family members that same story as well too. So the cops did some research on Felicia, and they found out that Felicia had a hysterectomy a year ago, and that she was not able to have kids. Like, if the cops didn't do their job, that's another topic. I was about to say something so smart, but I was just like, you know what, Tasha, just stay on topic. But if the cops, didn't do their job, they never would have found out that that Felicia had a hysterectomy and that she was unable to have kids. So you know what the cops do? They hopped in their little cop car, put their donut down and their coffee down. They drove all the way to Felicia's house, and they arrested her. They took the baby into custody. They took Felicia into custody. I'm assuming that they gave the baby to the grandma or whatever like that. I'm assuming that what's happened. But yeah, they, hold on. One little thing. I got it. Is the ending part? I think she they found her body in March. So yeah, the cops went, took the baby, arrested Felicia, and they also arrested Fred for participating in the murder. Now Fred stood by his word and he was saying that he had nothing to do with it. He didn't know. But a lot of people was speculating that. I was like, how did you not know, Fred? Like, you're her husband. Like, you just basically wanted a child. And I think what F Fred up ultimately is the fact that disposing of the body, he actually admitted to drive over 50 miles to dispose of this body. If they say take out the trash, they mean take out the trash on the curb, not 50 miles down the highway and throwing it over a bridge into a ravine. So it was just like, yeah, you had something to do about it. Like you knew, you suspect that Felicia had a plan to kill Caritha, and you just choose to ignore it. You just choose to ignore it because all you saw was that you wanted to be a dad. Period. That's it. All he saw was that he wanted to be a dad. But thank God they did found Caritha's body on March 14, 1996. So they was able to give her a proper burial. It took them almost 3 months to actually convict and pick up Felicia, but her trial date did not last long at all. Like, they immediately went to a deliberation and found her guilty and sentenced her to life in prison without the parole, and they gave Fred life in prison, but I think he has the possibility of parole. So yeah, I tried to find as much information on this story as I could, but I've noticed that when I do a lot of murder stories that involve, Africans Americans, they really don't have that much information unless they're famous. So, this was just a couple that I seen on Killer Couples, and I thought their story was pretty sick, and I was just like, I'm going to do a Storytime Saturday about that. And that what made me do my Storytime Saturday. But yeah, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed my Saturday Storytime. Don't beat me up too bad because like I said, I'm just starting to do this, so I'm still trying to work out the kinks. But the more that I do it and the more you guys show me love and the more you guys come back every Saturday right here to listen to me talk about some kind of crime, I am going to get better and better and better at it for you guys. Okay? So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for all the support. I hope you have a good day.